What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Aha. And we're returning to the second disc of Ending on a High Note. Indeed, when I was going through the early demos from the era before Hunting High and Low, big shout out to Sophia for sharing the second disc of that. But yeah, people mentioned they wouldn't mind me getting back to some of the live official releases that I hadn't finished, and this is one of them, so we'll go through this. Again, I want to keep going through those demos, and there's at least a couple tracks remaining on How Can I Sleep With Your Voice in My Head, so still lots to do. But yeah, we're going to listen to Crying in the Rain, which people pointed out to me from the very first reaction, although I think it took a couple different versions, because we've listened to a couple live performances of this by now. But yeah, this is originally an Everly Brothers song. When I first heard it on the East of the Sun, West of the Moon album, I think it was a perfect track to start the album with. I think it's very indicative of the way a lot of their sound was shifting as it moved into the 90s, as I've now come to understand it. People talked to me about it at the time, but of course you have to experience it yourself, and also with the wonderful Aha family's insights along the way. So yeah, ultimately it's a song I enjoy a great deal. I love it's more in a folksy direction than a lot of stuff that came in the 80s, but I still think it has that electric feel that I think characterizes a lot of the early Aha stuff. So again, I think it's a really cool transitional track as I've come to see it. And yeah, ultimately curious to hear how they perform it at this concert, which at the time was supposed to be, the complete end. So let's hear it. This is Aha, their version of Crying in the Rain from the concert Ending on a High Note, which again, I believe, if I have it here, it's 2010, right? Yeah, it was released 2011, but the concert itself, I believe, was late 2010.
Skies, you won't know the rain from the tears in my eyes. You'll never know that I still love you so. Though my heartaches remain, I'll do my crying in the rain. Raindrops falling from heaven someday when my crying's done, I'm gonna wear a smile and walk in the sun. I may be a fool, but till then, darling, you'll never see me complain. I'll do my crying in the rain. I'm gonna wear a smile and walk in the sun. I may be a fool, but till then, darling, you'll never see me complain. I'll do my crying in the rain. I'll do my crying in the rain. I'll do my crying in the rain.
It's a lovely tune, as I said before. I didn't realize when I reacted to it originally, which that is one of the ones that's since been blocked. I still have it in mind to eventually try to go back and use the headlines and deadlines to see if I can maybe get some of those back up. But Dawn did make a good point that ultimately those reactions we've gone through, we've talked about those tunes and so on. So while I might still do that eventually, it makes sense to keep doing these other performances. Certainly all the official ones, and again maybe even some of the bootlegs that in a few cases I did start going through at least a little bit. So in any case, yeah, it's a cool performance of a tune that I do enjoy. I wonder, different tunes, obviously this concert for a-ha fans, and I've even heard some people say that, to them this is the end of like the real, or not the real, but like the official a-ha, and then everything that's come later is welcome, but it's, something else because, their process has changed. I get that, but it did make me wonder as I was listening to this, like, what people think about the inclusion or the omission of different tracks, if this was really going to be the final concert. And even though I know they did it over, it wasn't just one night, I do wonder, if there's tunes that maybe people would have preferred to this one, or whether for some people this is an absolute essential one. So yeah, bottom line, it's an album or a tune that I mentioned I enjoy. The place it sits right at the beginning of the album it's on, I enjoy what it means in terms of how I've come to understand their sonic evolution. And it's a cool tune to cover in the sense that, I think a lot of those lines about trying to mask how you're feeling, and hoping for stormy weather because maybe people won't realize how much you're hurting inside. They're clever lines. I think it's well written. So in any case, do let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.